individual learner in the province. In fact, as I'm sitting down, when we have surpassed this discussion in the next few weeks to come, the solution that is gonna be presented in the SLMC must be a solution that begins to say, one, how does it answers individually each learner in the province? Each learner. Funeka la system ikwazi ukuthi lo mntana ingxaki yakhe le, lo mntana ingxaki yakhe le. It then means you need that interactive system of e-learning, so that you answer, the system answers individually the challenges of the learners, the challenges of the presenters, the challenges of the education planners. Sibuyela kulanda education planners ngoku, Juda. Kube kumahluko phakathi komuntu nje okwa education nomuntu oyiplanner. Hayi ube yiplanner in the true sense of the word planner. Because you are able to say to us, hayi yonke lento niyenzayo ayizunisa ndawo ningayenza nje. We must arrive there so that i-system yethu ikwazi uba relevant to the challenges that are there, colleagues. Otherwise, my appreciation and my apologies for having taken a bit of your time. All solutions and all hands on the deck, and all of us, we must be prepared to learn. There is no one that has got absolute ideas and perfect ones. Thank you so much.
Colleagues, can we give the Honorable MEC a standing ovation in appreciating Oludlwabivu? Let it thank you so much. I know you can even do much better. Give him a very, very powerful round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You may take your seats. When you started, Honorable MEC, I thought that I would be able to, just for my own notes, summarize some of the very important issues that you raised here. But just as you went along, I felt that and Lindsay clash. So with that frustration, I decided just to listen as we are marveling to your speech until just as you were landing, you gave this very specific instruction. It's something that we have not heard for a very long time in this department. Very straightforward. Mamubula, I think is speaking to you and your team. Nabo KK, Nabo Miskota, Mrs. Njotini, and your team is speaking to you. In fact, to you, Didi Jeskobo, MEC is taking it back to you. Oh, by the way, because the straightforward message, colleagues, is that through this initiative, how do you institutionalize career guidance back in the system? How do you institutionalize so that it's not just a summit for the sake of a summit? It is taking us somewhere which must be a game changer in what we are doing as government. Thank you so much, Mphathiswa. We are changing gears now, ladies and gentlemen. Time is not so much on our side. We shall see how we manage going forward. Now we are moving to panel discussions. MEC, I think, has given us just everything to empower us to take this discussion forward. Indeed, he is the host. You saw that invite. The MEC for Education, Mr. Fudilegade, is to host the 5th annual, you could not doubt it if you listen, that now here is the host speaking. Now, we want to move straight to the panel discussions, and I'll be inviting the following ladies and gentlemen to come and take seats up here. I'll start with Mr. Rufus Mavure, who is actually going to be the moderator of the first panel. Mr. Mavure is going to be working with Dr. ECDoE. Stoff, can you please come up? Mr. Kavuma of DBE. Mr. Kavuma, are you around? Oh, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Mohoros, you make me to be reluctant to pronounce. So, Dr. Sruga from Limpopo, Miss Sylvia Graham of Kucha. At least I'll be able to see because she is Miss. And I will not even be wasting any of their time, ladies and gentlemen, other than just asking the moderator to come and actually lead the session. Rufus, over to you, sir.
Sir, do we have a roving mic? Sorry? Do we have a roving mic?
Do we have a roving mic? We should. And Rufus, we give you 30 minutes. Maximum. Thank you.
I was not prepared. Then I was just told. I actually told Mr. Kabula this morning.
Right. When you speak after Honorable MEC, it's always a challenge, even if you are a speaker. Protocol, Honorable MEC, the DDGs around, the chief directors around. To quote Honorable MEC, he said, some decisions cannot be made by those who fear. And when he spoke about institutionalizing career guidance, in Simbu, he was saying, we teach skills of jobs that are not yet there, but they will be there. But we teach them now. How do we institutionalizing the career guidance based on developmental skills for jobs that are not there? In our topic today, with me, the panel that we have been introduced, the topic is where education is with e-learning. The big brother or the young brother to e-learning has always been synonymous. There is a roving mic there. Let's clap hands for him.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues. Quite grateful to be a part of this very experienced panel. I'm quite intimidated because my supervisor, Mr. Kavuma, is here. So I hope I dot the I's and I cross the T's. And we've got an ICT directorate that has been headed up by Mr. Nzube. We've had an e-library solution that was inspired by Mr. And this e-library localized that are currently addressing the issues in the different environments. National learning management system in the different platforms, looking at analytics and access with respect to engagement. We have tried to articulate Chaulana. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Stofile is stressing the importance of teacher development. As much as we migrate to e-learning, the assumption it's easy to go from a chalkboard to something digital, right? Is that easy, Patricia? Is that easy? 25 years teaching on a chalkboard and tomorrow you tell me use a tablet. So teacher development comes into being. All right, let's have the next speaker. Is it, yes? Mr. Mgroth? Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Honorable MEC, the HOD and senior managers, Mr. Shabani, and everybody present. I'm going to speak, I have, 5 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to speak from the DBE mandate in that perspective, the perspective of the DBE mandate, where we are responsible for policy development, monitoring of policy implementation and support. That's the angle I'm going to come from. And we all know that we have the white paper on e-education, which is the policy, which is really not a policy. It's just a guideline document. It's not a policy that we are using to guide us in terms of implementation of e-education. And there are strategic objectives in the white paper, but I'm not going to touch on the strategic objectives because of time constraints. I'll go straight to the policy goal. The policy goal of the white paper was saying that by 2013, all our learners will be ICT capable. They'll be able to use ICT to support whatever they need to be supported in terms of teaching and learning and in their personal lives. Nowadays, remember the white paper is a 2004 document. Nowadays, we don't talk about ICT capable. We say digital skills, we say digital literacy. Those are the terms that we use, which means that our white paper is actually outdated. So we are speaking about digital citizenship. That's what we're talking about nowadays. Now, when they developed the white paper on e-education, actually, the fact that our white paper is now outdated in terms of, although it still serves the purpose for which it was supposed to serve, but it is outdated in so many ways in terms of, for example, it does not accommodate emerging technologies. You'll find that the white paper actually was, since it's a 2004, it was developed before they developed the CAPS, for example, before they developed the National Development Plan, before you had the POPIA Act. There are so many things that have happened that were not accommodated by the white paper, because many of these things happened in 2012 and going forwards. They are post 2004. So you'll find that, for example, the action plan to 2030 was not developed date. You will find that there were no emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, augmented reality, virtual reality. All these were not there. Things like quantum computing, cloud computing, they were not there. So we need to develop a document that actually accommodates these things, that brings us up to the present. And that is what we are busy with as the DBE in terms of developing a policy that will provide a clear strategic direction for the sector, or a clear roadmap for the sector as to where we are going in terms of the implementation of e-education. We need a document that provides...
Right, should.
Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on this panel of discussion and also the opportunity to have our stand downstairs where we're displaying the technology that we supply for e-learning. So what I've actually realized sitting here and actually watching everybody and listening to everybody's speeches, and I can see that it's actually very important for us as a supplier to be more aligned with the Department of Education. So it's quite concerning if I hear that any of our products are inside of a storeroom or if they're not being utilized correctly, because then what happens is that this technology becomes a white elephant. And that means that we're also not doing a good enough job. So if you do find any of our products in a storeroom, please, you can come downstairs, you can take my cell phone number, give me a phone call. I head up the Eastern Cape and the Southern Cape for Parrot products, and I will ensure that we've got our technicians or our trainers to make sure that your teachers are using the products correctly, so ultimately the students are obviously being taught correctly as well. So definitely I've learned out of this is alignment is very important. What we've been doing in Port Elizabeth, touching on that subject, because I know it is quite important, is that we also found in Port Elizabeth the same problem, where a lot of the products are also installed. Remember, we do supply a lot of different resellers, so it's also very difficult to track where all these products are being installed. And what we've recently done is we've started working on a school strategy for 2024 and 2025, where in the Eastern Cape and the Southern Cape, we're actually offering free installation, free training, and free support on all the Parrot products. And I think that's very important in the space for e-learning and for technology, is that everybody is utilizing our products. So please, I don't mind giving out my cell phone number, come and collect a business card and my catalog downstairs, and we can move forward on that subject. And then obviously, where do I come from? So I'm 20 years, obviously, with Parrot products. I've been in the industry quite a while. I was fortunate enough to be part of the Smart Classroom project in 2017 and 2018. So a lot of my friends tell me that they've been to Port St. John's, they've been to the Transkar. Just because they went fishing, you definitely have not experienced the Transkar. To give you an example, we went to schools where you needed a 4x4 to get to the schools to actually go and do the installations. I actually helped on the project myself. What was quite interesting, a lot of the times our GPS didn't work, there was no cell phone signal, so we actually had to follow the sun back where it sets to actually get back to the towns. A lot of the students were calling me Umlungu, and they all came to speak to me. So I felt very important, and I must say, everybody looked very happy. The schools, quite interesting, is that some of the schools were being educated till 5 o'clock in the afternoons, and I couldn't believe it. And some of the schools, I actually just sat there and I just listened to the teachers teaching, and I must commend everybody. You guys are all doing an outstanding job, and thank you very much for the opportunity again. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mark. Brare, did you hear the secret from what he is saying? That there is a possibility of you buying laptops and tablets for the school. As soon as you leave, we lock them somewhere and continue in our traditional formats, which we are comfortable with. Check this out, Madam Kota. Can I call on Mr. Mgoros?
Thanks, Chair. I think the problems, the legislative problems that were chronicled here did not preclude us as a province to go ahead and do what we wanted to do. Right? And it is on that score that we raised one of the issues earlier on around the National eBooks Catalog as a framework that will guide all provinces in terms of our procurement, right? Because it's an important intervention, because we don't have to have individual relationships or engagements with publishers. It can be managed much in the same way that the traditional books are managed. But we have concluded the rollout of the e-learning program in Gauteng to or rather we have concluded the FET phase, specifically in full ICT schools, and we have defined what these full ICT schools are and what they should look like. The first thing would obviously be that a full ICT schools must be characterized by full connectivity, fiber connectivity. A full ICT school will be characterized by full provision of ICT devices to learners, coupled with content, coupled with ebooks that goes with the devices, and so on and so forth. But in Gauteng, we have another category of schools called schools of specialization. That we have also recategorized as full ICT schools, and the distinction will come to later on. We have also rolled out into these schools of specialization. 3 years ago, we started with no fee and fee-paying schools, specifically starting from grade 8. The first cohort of schools, or rather of learners in these schools that receive devices are starting grade 12 next year. Coupled with this, we're offering a content hub or platform, if you like, which offers multimedia content to our learners. Currently, we are supporting over 1 million learners on our content platform. The next steps in terms of the content platform are that we want to, the current architecture does not allow us to do analytics, does not allow us to do baseline assessment. So that's the next set of work that we are busy with, to make sure that the architecture allows us to do all of that, because baseline assessment would allow us to then push content that is necessary specifically to that learner. So if I'm struggling, if as an example, there's a concept before bank reconciliation in accounting that I need to master for me to be able to comprehend bank reconciliation. If I'm struggling with that concept, the content platform should not present bank reconciliation to me, but it should rather keep on throwing content to me that would assist me to be able to understand. So those are the type of analytics that we are now working onto our platform. But obviously this requires an LMS, which is can't, and I want to argue that we shouldn't be teaching, and I'm going to be very, I don't have the word. Yeah, well, it's not even let's call it controversial. We shouldn't be teaching an educator how to switch on a board, right? We shouldn't be teaching an educator how to open Microsoft Word. We shouldn't be teaching them how to develop rhetoric. It is linked to BMW. It is a school of specialization, specializing in automotive engineering. If you go there currently, you will find a BMW X3 in the premises of the school, where learners are taught automotive engineering. You go to a school called Curtis Nkondo, Susluto went there. You go to a school called Curtis Nkondo in Soweto. You will find an engine of an aircraft in the premises of that school, where learners are taught aviation, right? If you go to the VAL in Mutlodi, it's a school of specialization, specializing in maritime. If you go to Rhodesfield Secondary School, it's a school of aviation, where learners are taught to fly, flying aeroplanes and whatever else that they get. So we have, and this is an attempt to make sure that our learners are ready when they leave school, right? Linked to this thing, we have a program called multi-certification, where at every level a learner can be certificated for a specific skill that they would have gotten, be it linked to that specific corridor or any other curriculum that gets offered. How does this thing link to the work that we do? We are concluding a proof of concept where we are offering mechanical spray painting and industrial panel beating, where we're offering it using virtual reality, right? Because we had realized that learners in some of our schools struggle with, actually they must weld 90-degree angle, and the rod must be held at a particular angle. But with virtual reality, it's instant. You are able to know that I have pressed the rod too hard into this angle and it's going to break through. So those are some of the interventions that we are dealing with. Two last points, 2 minutes. There's a school, it's called Waverly Girls High. We have partnered with Intel, where the learners in these schools are taught, and it's a girls' school, they are taught, or rather they are offered artificial intelligence. For 4 years running, since we've partnered with Intel and Saibono, girls from these schools have won international competitions, sponsored by Intel. So already they are at a particular comfort level when it comes to artificial intelligence. So in agreeing with the MEC, we need to normalize in the same way that we have normalized traditional textbooks. We need to normalize these things, right? So it should not be an anomaly, it should not be a miracle that a learner is carrying this walking around the township. That is why our approach as Gauteng is that we are going to flood the streets of Gauteng with these devices. They can steal them, we will replace them. They can break them. They can break them, we will fix them and replace them. That's the attitude that we have, because gone are the days when this thing should cost anything in the black market, right? We've been able to crush the syndicates that were stealing LED boards in Gauteng. Today, over the last 2 years, there has not been a single board that has been reported stolen.
Right.
Now they have changed from stealing the boards, they are now stealing the parts, the OPSs from the board. So we must normalize these things. That's the only way we're going to fight. We're going to fight this battle, because it's an expensive program that we are running. It's a program that is worth 1.9 billion per annum that we are running in Gauteng on e-learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. He said they can steal them, but we are going to replace them. Somehow he's speaking like Panyaza Lusufi. But when MEC started, he spoke of employment creation to avoid joblessness. My take from your presentation is the schools of specialization are a channel towards that. And I could see the body language of the learners in here wondering, where is the school of specialization in this province? But hey, that's your answer. Now, can I have, we move on from Gauteng to Limpopo. Dr. Seroka.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleagues. I want to be like a referent. When you are greeting people and they are quiet, you become a bit disturbed. Colleagues, I am Pane Soroka, as I've been introduced already. Memkota, you kept this a secret until this moment. I did not know that I'm going to talk here until today. But there is no problem with that because I'm in the province that is similar to mine. Limpopo province and Eastern Cape have got similar features. That's why I don't shiver when I'm here. I'm relaxed. So to take just a few minutes of your time, colleagues, as Limpopo, we have a structure. Although we are still building the structure, we have at least 2 officials at head office responsible for e-education. Tina, we call it e-education. There will be a debate one day whether to call it e-learning or e-education, but I'm calling it e-education for a reason. It's a e-education. We have to teach these people. And colleagues, we have 10 districts in Limpopo, and fortunately, as we are speaking right now, there are dedicated e-education coordinators in each and every district. These are the colleagues that were appointed last year. They are now 1 year old as e-education coordinators. And the good thing about those people, they are all young and fresh blood. We opted to appoint fresh and young blood to run e-education in our province. The challenge here is when we are talking, the colleagues that are here, because we are taking advantage of also teaching them referent. For those who are familiar with the TPEC model, that is a technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge model, it comprises of 3 principles: the technology, pedagogy, and content. Now, the unfortunate part, this is something even the people who are doing research will bear testimony to it, that young fresh blood knowledge concepts. Now you have to bring this disparity. You have to bring this technology and the other 2 knowledge aspects together. And that is a process. Because what is happening with our young generation is that when we are talking ICT integration, most of the times they are talking of applications and leaving out the other 2 knowledge aspects. And that brings the exodus that my colleague talked about of Gauteng. You are not alone. Because when they reach the classroom or the workshops, they start to talk this technical language. And that frustrates our teachers. And we are working on that. Now, the other thing, perhaps, colleagues, is that we are all aware of the fact that this e-education is clouded by a myriad of challenges. There is superficial understanding of what e-education actually is. Some people think that when you are able to open a computer, you are doing e-education. And the answer is no. We'll have time to deal with that. So we are working towards that. There is still a lot of work to do. Even the e-education strategy in Tatikavuma. These are some of the things that we must infuse when we revise the e-education strategy. There's been a question about, actually it's not a question, it's an open secret that Limpopo is doing well in terms of mathematics. It's no longer a secret. It has been said in all the corridors that I've been. And what is the reason? What is the medication that you are prescribing to these learners in Limpopo? Especially the learners who are in the periphery of the province, because those are the learners that are doing well. Limpopo is 90% plus rural, and deep rural, I guess, is the same as Eastern Cape. Because somebody said you just replace Eastern Cape and Limpopo, then you have all the features. I think I'm correct. Now, the issue here is that with our MST schools, and Dr. Sofile, we have prioritized MST schools. We have provided 106 MST schools with smart classrooms. All of them. Because we do not want those children to see a smart classroom when they reach university. We are still working very hard. Limpopo came up with a model to provide tablets to our grade 1s and 8 learners, grade 2s and 3s and so on. But we have revised that to say, no. Let's, while we also consider our young children, let's start up there, because the challenge that we are having is that we are only seen to be working during matric presentation results. That's the only time. You are not worried whether a grade R learner is failing. You are not worried whether a grade 8 learner is failing. We are worried when the grade 12 learner is failing. What is the reason? We are more, worried about the grade 12 results. But in the middle here, we are relaxed. Now, why maybe I'm giving this space is not just to, I'm also coming here to learn from you guys. Now, the Limpopo has decided that the e-state, we are going to start with grade 12s with the provisioning of these devices. And that has already yielded more results. From last year, 2 of our districts were provided, 3 actually, were provided with the Stats SA tablets. We took them to Vembe East, Vembe West, and Mopani, and so on. Now, what has happened is that one of the districts, Mopani West to be precise, has shown us that if you utilize these devices correctly, they will give you the results you want. So I agree with you, DDG, that utilization must be the main focus. Not whoever is coming with, this is top of the range tablet and so on. Bring the package.
Right, Dr. Soroka?
I can talk the whole day.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Lastly and finally, no, I'm beginning to warm up. now you are putting me down. And lastly and finally, we need some form of collaboration here, man. We are in the space of e-education and implementing White Paper 7 of 2004, which comprises of 2 critical areas, the professional and technical. Where are the technical people in this hall now? Remember, as a teacher, I'm not supposed to be knowing how to repair a tablet when it is maybe having some challenges.
Right.
My job is to use the mic when it is working, not to fix the mic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, let's clap hands for the presenters. I remember when we used to write a composition, a day I will never forget. At times we got the comment which said, "See me." So if you have any question, see these guys. at break time or lunch time, questions to them, see them. For the sake of time, we won't have a roving mic. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together again for the panel and all what they have said? So please do keep your questions. You will still be using them later in the program. But without any further delay, colleagues, I now want to call upon the second and last panel. I'll start with Ms. Ayanda Mtsatse, who is the Director of Programs at Click Learning. Ayas, please welcome Ayanda with a round of applause. To join in the stage, to join Ayanda is going to be Mr. G. Carter from Grey Boys Primary. Mr. Carter, welcome, sir. Mr. K. Bush from Hudson Primary. Ms. K. Bush, thank you so much. You can come up, colleagues. Mr. G. Thomas, Louisville Rumo High. Thank you so much. Almari van der Beek from Cape Recife. Cape Recife, do we have the colleague from? Oh, I'm told she is not going to be here today. I'll just hand over to Ayanda to introduce the panel discussion and just take us through. Thank you so much. Take this one. Guys, if you don't want me to break this thing, please come. Yeah.
And then for the other. Good afternoon, colleagues. So our panel discussion is going to work a little bit different from the previous panel. I'll be asking questions and the panelists will be answering the questions. So as Mr. Mchida had introduced me, I'm Ayanda Mtsatse. I work for Click Learning and MPO. We have got partnerships with Gauteng Province, Eastern Cape, Mpumalanga and Western Cape. So our topic today, before I get into the topic, the panelists are going to introduce themselves with a very light touch bio, and then we'll get straight to the questions. We've heard a lot from the policymakers today and the people who build the framework. We've had a talk from our honorable MEC, but you know what? The proof is in the pudding. It's time now that we hear what actually really happens at the school level. So we've got our National Teacher Award winners. They had all received awards in the Excellence in Technology Enhancing, Teaching and Learning.
Good afternoon. I'm Gary Carter from Grey Boys Primary, and I head up our online Moodle platform. And for me, I think the most important thing for me as an educator is to try and stay relevant in the teaching. So that would be my sort of main aim, and that's why I moved into the EdTech space.
I am Kelly Bush. I'm head of ICT at Hudson Park Primary School, and I work with Tangible Africa, bringing coding and computational thinking to under-resourced communities across South Africa. And for me, it's all about empowering our learners for their future and making sure that they have all the skills that they need.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm a mathematics and a CAT teacher. I'm representing Krisani West District. I'm a winner of last year India competition. My category was excellence in technology, enhanced teaching and learning. And also I'm a developer of a educational application. And also I'm running a YouTube channel for mathematics. And I believe myself as a technology enhanced educator.
Thank you so much. Round of applause, please, to our panelists. Thank you. So our topic today is talk about how disrupting technologies are reshaping teaching and learning in ECU schools. So when we talk about disrupting, we're not really talking about chaos, right? We're actually talking about how do we introduce something new into the existing system. So Gary, I would like for you to tell us what motivated you to integrate ICT into your teaching practice despite the challenges that it comes with.
For us at Grey Boys Primary, it was actually COVID. We all were in COVID and we were stuck at home, knowing we had to still educate our learners, and we had a number of phone calls between myself, our headmaster here, Mr. Butler, and a guy by the name of Mike from NMU. Mike had the back-end knowledge to set up Moodle for us. We decided to go with a platform, and Mike, I said, no, he set up the Moodle platform for us. And the challenge then was, how do we get our staff trained? So I had to create some videos, which we sent out initially on WhatsApp until the staff were confident enough to actually get onto the site. And then I created a full, sort of a comprehensive video section of tutorials for our staff to learn from. And that is twofold. It gave staff who were nervous of technology their own time to find themselves and sort of get confident in each section. And also it helps us currently with new staff arriving, they can get trained when they come to school. So there's a twofold thing there. Over time we managed to upload basic stuff first, just content. We've now recently moved into full-on presentations, videos created through AI. We've got interactive H5P activities where the learners actually have interactive activities to do. And then since then, being back at school, the drive behind EdTech has been quite big. So our headmaster has a full drive and a full-blown EdTech drive at Grey. We've now incorporated iPads. We're moving into coding robotics. And it's good for the children at our school, the learners, because we can now use the iPads along with Moodle, where they can collaborate in classrooms on different work. So it's now actually moving into fully blown EdTech, not just an online platform.
That's very interesting, eh? So that shift of actually getting your teachers to buy into the use of EdTech products.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you had to take time and give the educators an opportunity to orient themselves with the with the technology which your school is offering.
Correct. I think with every disaster like COVID, there's an opportunity for us to learn something and do something. So that was our opportunity, COVID. And we took staff who I think would have been a lot more nervous with technology. They were forced into learning that technology during COVID. So we took a giant step there, and it moved a lot faster, I think, because of COVID. So that was our opportunity in that time of disaster.
And Tom, with the making use of YouTube and your Mr. Maths app, what were the challenges that you experienced during the implementation? And what motivated you, in fact, for opting to make use of YouTube and a Maths app?
You know, if I want to tell you in one sentence, maybe I can say like this, necessity is the mother of invention. So, in our class, I think about that one, and then after that, I think, what can I do for this? How can I solve this problem? Then I started using online educational applications, websites like IXL, Worksheet Cloud. So one advantage of these online educational websites is in case if a learner made a mistake, immediately it will show, okay, the answer is wrong and what is the correct answer. And also all the explanations are there. So it means that the learners are getting immediate feedback, and that is very important in teaching and learning. And also they can move according to their pace. And another point is, in a classroom, in my school, it's 1 hour is one lesson. So in that 1 hour, maximum I can do 2 or 3 questions. But for my students to get a better levels, that is not enough. So that's why I decided to start a YouTube channel. And in my YouTube channel, what I did is, I tried to explain 20, 25 years of past question paper in a very simplified manner that even a below average students can easily understand that.
So you did your own videos.
Yes, absolutely.
And you spent time, so the lesson planning in your classroom, and you integrated the two.
Yes,
Oh, that's
right.
awesome, man. And Kelly, in terms of like the intervention in your school, right? How have your students responded to the introduction of ICT in your classroom? And how has it changed their learning experience?
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about our work with Tangible Africa first. So with Tangible Africa, we're often engaging with learners who have never had experience with coding before. And I have to say, watching that moment where they realize that they have the power to solve these problems and that they are problem solvers and logical thinkers, it just sort of lights something up in them. And it opens up this whole world of possibilities that they didn't know was there before. In terms of my own classroom, so changing over to more problem-based learning and real-world application, it really helped my learners to engage more with the content. So, for example, whether they are designing apps to solve problems that they have identified in their own communities, or whether they're building brand kits for local nonprofits, is they're seeing the potential for what these technologies can be used for in real life, and getting that chance to engage with real people and get feedback from real people, it really, just helped them to see their possible place in the future.
So real life problem solving, that's an essential skill, to develop with our learners. And Gary, there's a whole lot of misconceptions when it comes to e-learning, ICT, digital space, Most of the time we find that the challenges are oversold, right? Yet the opportunities, those ones are undersold. So Gary, how did you address using ICT in underprivileged or maybe more of challenging situation? How was in your experience, what is the biggest misconception?
I think for IT-based stuff, I think you spoke earlier as well, where people use ICTs to just replace the textbook. So you take what you had in the past in terms of a geography textbook, that becomes something on your iPad. There's no sort of interaction, there's no collaboration. So you lose that aspect of what it's actually meant to be. If you want to teach the textbook, whether it's on your iPad or a hard copy form, there's no difference to that. So what the change is how do you use technology to enhance your teaching, but also to enhance the learning. And that comes through collaboration with the children in class, giving them problem-solving stuff to do where they can actually collaborate on devices together. and solve problems. So there's a mind shift, I think, between the old school textbook-based teaching as opposed to the proper integrated technology enhanced learning.
Sort of like the blended learning that one of the previous talkers actually presented on. Thomas, what do you foresee? I mean, you are innovative, you use YouTube, there's a maths app. So it'd be interesting, just from your own perspective, as to what you foresee as the next big technological trend in education, and how should schools in the Eastern Cape prepare for this?
No, recently, maybe you heard that recently researchers developed an AI hospital in China, and where there is no human doctors are there. And in an American standardized medical examination, these AI doctors scored better marks than a human doctor. So it is quite unfortunate that if we ask our students what is their future plan, then they will say maybe I want to be a doctor or an engineer or an accountant. But the fact is that within few years or maybe after 20 or 30 years, maybe we can say there is no need of an accountant or no need of a medical doctor, because if a powerful software can do an accountant's job, then what is the need of an accountant? And if an strong AI can do a medical doctor or better than a medical human doctor, then there is no need of a medical doctor. But at the same time, there are so many other job opportunities are creating. For example, data scientist, AI specialist, then robotic engineers, then autonomous vehicle engineers, then cybersecurity experts. There are so many job opportunities are creating. And it is our responsibility to get our learners ready to get that job opportunities. And I'm very happy to say that our Eastern Cape Department of Education is far ahead in that, because we already started teaching coding in our primary school. And also in our system, we are prioritizing STEM subjects. And also we are trying to create critical thinking and problem solving skills through our syllabus. So it means that we are trying to get our learners to live in that or available themselves in that job market.
And Kelly, I know that a lot of the work that you do, you're actually part of the planning, the developing, and you input into making sure that the product at the end meets the learner's need, because at the end we're doing this for the learner. So how do you foresee in future, how does that look like from your perspective, the next big thing in the future?
Well, I think a lot of what we are doing now is sort of feeding into the future, and especially the new coding and robotics curriculum and the way that it integrates with other subjects. So making sure that we are making connections for learners between the different subjects, between coding and maths and coding and language, and my work with Tangible Africa at the moment, we're looking at making that connection. The experience that I have as a class teacher before this, and then my experience in coding, it's helped me to see those connections and sort of bridge that gap. And so, for example, the work we're doing with foundation phase assessment and coding and maths and coding is just helping teachers bridge that gap between this new topic that some of them feel scared learning, and actually what they're already doing in class. A lot of the topics and the skills transfer over. So I feel like it's just about making those connections for teachers and for learners, and integrating everything. Not everything that we do needs to be separated into its subjects, but we need to look at how we can make connections between future skills and what learners are already doing in the classroom.
And what's your take on AI, Gary?
I think the future is going to be AI or some form of personalized learning systems where content is taken and adapted to the child's need. And I think in the future, if we have the right infrastructure, the right things in place, if we have a curriculum where not only on how to use AI as an educator or as a student, but maybe bring it in as a subject in the curriculum for the future, possibly looking at access, making sure everybody in the country, regardless of their backgrounds, they have access to all these tools they need to move forward. And those are big challenges moving forward. And I think also teacher or educator training is important. How to use AI not only for content creation or your lessons in class, but also how to use those personalized learning systems, the tools within your class, so you can streamline teaching per child, individual focused learning in the future.
So Tom, to wrap this up, if you can give me one word or maybe a paragraph, completely up to you. If we think about learner-centric approach, what comes to mind?
You know, recently our school received Chrome notebooks in our school. And I think it's a part of a e-library solution. So in that Chromebook, it's in Android platform, Android operating system in that Chromebook. So at that time, I thought, okay, why don't I start developing a online education application? And that's how I started creating that my Mr. Max. So in Mr. Max, what I download that from App Store or even iOS platform also, it will work. Then they can select the subject, and there are all the topics I included in that one. So if they select the topic, then all the question papers, not only the past question papers and memorandum, even the explanation videos are explained videos are there. So for example, if a learner want to watch November 2023 past question paper, a particular topic, so he just want to click on that one, then the video explanation, my video explanation is there. So almost all the facilities I provided in that application of mine. So here I am a Max teacher, that is why I'm doing Max in that one. So if the department allows me, then there are options there to add more grades, more subjects, so that I'm sure that it is going to be a big project. And I strongly believe that ICT is the future of our educational system.
Kelly?
Well, I really think that empowering learners and giving them autonomy over their own learning and giving them the skills that they need to feel like they can make changes in their communities and in their country. I think that's how we develop a country of problem solvers, of learners who are going to go into the world with the skills they need to solve the problems that we so badly need solving. But just giving them that power and that confidence and working with them on problems that are relevant and real to them and the real world application of the problems that they solve.
Thank you, Kelly. Gary?
Okay, mine's slightly different. At Grey Boys Primary, we have an LMS, which is, we have a page per grade, and every page has an icon for every subject in that grade. And it's fully loaded with content and videos and H5P content, all those fancy things. But all of that was created by normal teachers like you in the hall. It was created by staff not trained in IT. It was created by staff who had a will to do something. And together as a team at Grey, we put together, I think, a world-class Moodle platform. And it was just done by normal teachers. So the challenge out there is, if there's a will, there's a way. You work it out. You can do it, and you can change the lives of the learners at your schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Didiji Dragat, I mean, as you can see, Your educators, they have been innovative in using technology to reshape teaching and learning in the classroom. Ma'am Kota, I think with a structured, cost-efficient program backed up by the MEC's budget, I think we will definitely see dividends in learning.
Colleagues, let's give them a very big round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayanda. Honorable MEC, ladies and gentlemen, I think now it's time that we should break for lunch. We shall have lunch for the next 45 minutes. And how far is 45 minutes, Pinky, is taking us as you are coming? 2:45. So if I may just ask you colleagues just to be here, seated at 2:45. We are actually trying to chase time. Pinky is going to tell us where to go for lunch.
Thank you, Program Director. So the lunch is going to be served downstairs at the exhibition area. So we're going to ask the table MEC together with the HODs and our VIPs, the 2 rows, the first line and the second row, and also